Hi guys, welcome back. So we finally have our last two sketchbooks. So this is sketchbook number 1 of my final year at Bath College, and it was the final project before leaping into university and having all that freedom and lovely bits of just adulthood that I didn't have to worry about until now. And I have had to change my setup. Normally I do this on a desk, but because my sketchbook is A2 size, I've had to find a way around of making the most out of this space, and I have to put you on the floor, unfortunately, but we will have to just deal with it. You will see my hands and feet a lot more because I have to physically move around to be able to show you the pages. I'll do my best to talk through everything, have any questions, and all the other little bits and pieces as well. I also have a cup of tea because I'm British and I need a drink. I've got Twinings Focus It if anyone wants to know. Right, okay. Sketchbook 1 of 2. Okay, we have the evaluation. So I'm guessing we started this off on the 23rd of March, and we had to do a week by week summary. So there's 8 week summaries in here. Lovely little like a mood page. And we start off with newspaper, which I don't know what to think about. I remember this. I bought a newspaper every single week. I took snippets out of it and then put it into my sketchbook it was kind of like a permanent marker of what was relevant at that time or what was in the news. Not like we need more bad things in the world, but I wanted to make a point and I thought it was a very good way to start the project. We've got some lovely bits of texture, some mark making, and it looks like acrylic pouring actually. Move on to some drawings of watercolour, and I changed it into geometric. Some more drawings, probably live drawings actually. Use some of the newspapers and changed them by collage. Collage is actually a really recent thing that I've been seeing throughout my sketchbooks. I started touching upon it properly in a university, but that was more like a gap filler because I'd finished my project a couple of weeks beforehand and I was like, well, what do I do now? I kind of decided that was my final piece, and my lecturer was just kind of like, well, just play around with stuff, you know, like if you don't want another sculpture, maybe just play around a bit of collage and just see where you go. Actually turned into a really nice little project that I didn't have to worry what it looked like because I wasn't physically making anything, I was just playing around with bits of paper. Oh, and then we have artist research on a lovely bit of page. These are looking very neat, much more neater than my other sketchbooks, especially my university ones. I feel like there's a lot more care in these sketchbooks already, and we're only a few pages in. And these pictures are actually taken from, if I'm pronouncing this right, Peggy Guggenheim? Guggenheim? I'm probably not pronouncing that right. Guggenheim. In Italy, when we went to Venice with my college. I remember getting a week off of work. I was begging my work for it. I really needed it. Because I think it was in January, actually. There is lovely bits and pieces that we want to know about. Lovely drawings, sections of the previous drawings blown up. And I tried to change it by layering bits and pieces on it. Then these are some images from Venice, which naturally you do some drawings of. I love this colour combination. It's something so rustic and pure about it, but think I mentioned this in one of my oil pastels. When it comes to using white paper, it conflicts so much that I kind of become very overwhelmed, and it fizzes my brain. So I end up having to paint the background before actually working on it. Here it's not really effective because I think it's just drawing people. Watercolour. Lots of scribbles. And openings. So some of these pictures are actually my pictures. So we've got, that is one of my pictures. That was the window in the spare bedroom when I lived in my parents' house. That was the window in my room when I lived there, and then this is just an object that was somewhere in the living room. Just drawing some objects in different mediums. Gone back to some of the logo stuff that I did in the first year with Peter Blake. Wonder why that happened. Lovely liner print, which was the same technique of where you started off with starting to draw something, but you took a couple of lines out and then you printed it and continuously printed it. That'd be quite a cool premise to do, but what kind of idea could that be? Just a thought. Getting my head going now. Got it again. That's on black paper. Oh, but this paper here is just normal paper, and I've put layers of acrylic paint on top, and you can see where the inks have interacted with it, and it's so nice to work with. I really like that one. That one really stands out bold. We got into all the nooks and crannies. Choose some different bits of paper. Or different colour bits of paper. Oh. Some artist research, because I've got two little pictures and I just compare myself to it. Well, to Cornelia anyway. Got some images of, well, some tickets and bits that I went to that year. So we've got that from when I went to Connaught, and that was, well, back in 2012. We've got some, got to Lady Gaga, just getting like, sorry, just had getting loads of flashbacks. Palmer was such a good time. Got some sort of geometric imagery. Oh, I believe this, yeah, so I remember this. A lecture was like, you need to put water on, this is to everyone, you need to put water into your sketchbook and drop inklets and then draw from it in different materials. It was just to keep the process going as we try to work out what medium and what our final piece was going to be. Because it was so, we didn't have a clear picture at the start. We were just trying to develop and explore these types of, well, ideas as we went along. Seems that it's not just always one artist on one page, you've got three on here, which makes it lovely and flowing throughout the sketchbook. More photography. We've got some blown up versions of some of the collagey bits from before, which have some really lovely marks on. Like this one is really lovely. It's actually a scaled up image of this bit here. Tell you what though, looking at all the tickets makes me wonder, well, I just wait for the Glastonbury every year, but I don't actually go see many artists. So maybe you should. Maybe I should just go buy a ticket for £5 or something. Got some monoprinting, which is a very good technique if anyone wants to ever try it. It's very useful to do. This is a photograph which I then, I believe, just carried on with graphite. Some more images which I have put the monoprinting on top of. More monoprinting. Got some. I think I was trying to replicate it. I realised that actually drawing on top of it rather than starting with one piece and then printing didn't really work. This wasn't really the way I wanted to go, but I was trying it. Different bits of collage. I was definitely trying it. Dead thick. It was a very... I was obsessed with 3 different materials when I was in college. It was acrylic, white acrylic paint, graphite, chalk and charcoal, because once it dried you could manipulate it and change it, and it was just so lovely to work with. You could argue that I was obsessed with oil pastels as well, but not as clearly as those 3 mediums. Some drawings. We went to Cardiff. Yeah, we went to Cardiff because my friend, and she didn't want to go by herself, which is that. Just some little bits and pieces. Oh, so this is that little section there where I've just cut little bits out and taken bits and photographed it to make a more interesting piece. Just taking bits out. I'm guessing that's what squares are from. We have the final, just lots of things that I've stuck into my sketchbook. I'm guessing I was trying to get it towards the end because I realised I actually needed another sketchbook because I took a lot of space up from doing little ideas. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did, well, looking back on how my projects went. I do remember this project. I still have the final pieces, but I'll show you them when it comes to the next sketchbook, the next and final sketchbook that is, because it would just make a lot more sense. But in the meantime, guys, if you have anything you'd like to say, please comment down below, and don't forget to check out my links in my description box. There is my social medias, also my eBay selling account, which is where you'll find all my artworks I feature on my channel, plus a couple of extras. There's also a PayPal's donation page if you'd like to make a donation, but if you cannot, don't worry about it. Subscribe and like this video because that helps me a lot more than you know. In the meantime, I shall see you guys next time.